What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how I created this Kobe Bryant Manipulation graphic. I based it off of the Obi-Wan Kenobi poster, which is on Disney Plus. I posted this up on my page a couple of days ago and it's already got 66,000 likes, which is the most I've ever got. So I guess people think it's a cool design. Before I start, make sure you like and subscribe as I'm trying to grow my page out and give you guys more tutorials. So here's how it looks now, and then I'm gonna hide everything and go through the background real quickly. So the main part of the background starts with this gradient overlay here. So what I've done is created a gradient overlay, put it at the back to create the base color, and then I've gone over and imported this picture of this desert. So I've masked it out just to fit it right here. So if we remove the mask, you'll see it's just like a little desert. And then I've also put a blur on it because it's the far side of the desert. And then for the foreground, I've got this picture of this desert. If we disable it again, you see it looks like this, and then I've just masked out the sky. And I've also chucked on some hue and saturation just to make it blend a bit better and match the background of the composition, and then added a bit of brightness to the back there. Then I've added the sun right here. So basically all this is a circle. You get the circle from the ellipse tool here, right there. And then I've added some inner glow as well as some outer glow just to make it nice and bright right there. And then I've added a second one right here. Now to make the sun look really bright, I've added this like really shiny glow along the back of the desert, and then I've just set the blending mode to lighten, and then also chucked some clouds in the back just to give it some some environment right there. Then here's a bit of shadows up the top. After that, I've brushed in a little bit of this sandy texture right here just to make it look like a desert more. Then to top it off, I've added a light leak just up there just to make it nice and bright up the top, and then change the hue and saturation, and then added some exposure, just darkened it a little bit and added some shadows along the ground just so that the text stands out when we add it. And then I've added in these trophies too. So as you can see, 3 trophies in the background, and basically what I've done to the trophies is I've added a Gaussian blur which makes it look far away, and I've also added some exposure right here. So if we look at this right here, this is what the trophy looked like before. We turn off the Gaussian blur, looks like that. Turn the blur on, makes it look far away. And then this exposure, I've just made it a little bit darker, and then added some exposure around the edges just to make it look like the light is hitting it. And yeah, so I've done that for all 3 trophies, and that is the background. Now let's go to Kobe. Okay, for Kobe, I've just imported this little illustration I did of him. If you want some tutorials, there's more on my page. I'll show you how to draw in Adobe Illustrator, and I have some more in-depth tutorials coming on the way as well. But yeah, here's my picture of Kobe. I like this one. I drew it out. I thought it would look nice on a poster like this. And then what I've done is added some exposure, made it darker. So I decreased the exposure to make him, kind of fit into the composition a bit more. See, if you take it out, it stands out a little bit too much. So I want him to blend in. So I've darkened it a little bit. And you can do this by clicking here, going to exposure, and that just creates an exposure layer. You turn it up or down. And yeah, then I've gone ahead and added another exposure layer. So I've added it on the outside, turned up the exposure to show where the light is hitting his body. So the light source is coming from the back here, the sun, the 2 suns, and then so where the light would naturally hit would be just on the outside of his body. And adding exposure just gives it a lot more depth. As you can see, without it, kind of sticks out, and if we turn it on, just gives it a little bit more depth and helps it fit into the environment more. Now I've created a copy of Kobe Bryant So what you can do is click Control J, so that duplicates the layer right there. So I've done it right here, and then I've added a motion blur, and then I did a color overlay and turned it into a smart object, and this just adds a shadow. Again, just remember where the light is hitting, so if the light is coming from around here, then the shadow will end up in the opposite 180 direction. Then I've just added a little shadow underneath as well, and then I've added this cape. So this is just a normal looking cape right here that I found on Google, cut it out, put it behind him, and then I've turned the exposure down just to make it dark again. And then as well, I've turned the exposure up, and then it's painted around the outside. So it looks like the light is hitting it where it's supposed to. And then let's move on to the lightsaber. Right there, nice little touch. The glow's not as sharp as I wanted it to be, but it'll suit when you zoom out, nobody really cares. What I did was I created a round rectangle and added it here, and then what I did was created an outer glow, and I turned the outer glow purple, set the blend mode to lighten, and then I've duplicated it a bunch of times just to make it glow. So if you just do one, the glow isn't as bright, but each time you duplicate it, just kind of turns it up a little bit more, which is nice. And then I just added a purple light glow over the top. See where the light's hitting. Then again, I've added more trophies. So I've added one in the front, made it blurry, done the same with the exposure, turned it down and turned it up on the outsides. And the same goes for this one right there. And then for the text, looks like that. First of all, let me show you what I based this off of. That would be smart. Now for the text, I've added this Kobe 1. I did it on a play of words because it's like Obi-Wan, Kobe 1, blah blah blah. So basically what I did is I used this font, got a new computer, so it's showing a bit of an error here, but the font was Good Times Regular. Nice little spacey font, so I've done that. Then I've added the Star Wars logo here, and as well as these 3 rectangles or lines just to give it some, nice details to the design. And what I've done here is I've added a gradient fill and a texture to make it look kind of desert sandy looking. And then I've just created it as a clipping mask. So if you take that off, this is what it's looked like. And then I've clipped the gradient fill to the group and then added this texture into the clipping mask, and it gives it that kind of desert ground looking look. And then I've just gone ahead and added this Disney logo, obviously the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series on Disney Plus, just to give it a cool little detail there. And then I've added some finishing touches and color correction just to make it pop a little bit more. So what I've got here, if we turn this off, I've got a brightness and contrast adjustment here, so just up the brightness just by about 8. And I've got a color lookup, so you can go here, click color lookup, and then that just kind of changes how your, just how your colors look and how it pops. You can download them online, there's a bunch of them. So I got this one right there. What is it? Orange and teal, that's a nice one. And then I've just added, And then I've just added a hue and saturation, made it a bit more saturated. And yeah, that's the design. If you learned something from this video, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow my channel out, give you guys more tutorials, it would really help me out. And go follow my Instagram @Xavier to see the rest of my designs. And yeah, thank you for watching.